Staying in West Africa, Senegalese opposition figure Ousmane Sonko is calling on the public to come out en masse if he's arrested and not released within 2 hours. Sonko was sentenced to 2 years in prison a month ago. The opposition figure's conviction makes him ineligible to stand in next year's presidential elections.
Je dis aux Sénégalais que s'il m'arrête à 8 heures, maximum à 10 heures, je dois revenir chez moi. Dans toute autre situation, on serait dans une détention arbitraire, comme ils ont l'habitude d'essayer de le faire depuis mars 2021, le 3 mars 2021, lorsqu'ils m'ont illégalement arrêté sur la route du tribunal. Et dans ces schémas-là, j'appelle tout le peuple sénégalais à se lever comme un seul homme et à sortir massivement au nom du droit à la...
Well, let's head to South Africa, where the acting public protector has cleared President Cyril Ramaphosa of wrongdoing in the scandal where large sums of foreign currency were stolen from his farm. According to Kholeka Gcaleka, the investigative team found no proof that Ramaphosa was actively involved in the running of the farm known as Phala Phala, nor that he received earnings from it. The investigation came about after burglary at the farm in February 2020, where claims were made that President attempted to cover up theft of millions of dollars from his farm. Meanwhile, opposition political parties such as the Democratic Alliance, the Economic Freedom Fighters and the African Transformation Movement have criticized the findings, announcing their intentions to approach the courts to have the report reviewed. Joining us live to further discuss this is political analyst Dr. Ongama Mtimka to give us more insights on this. Good evening to you, Dr. Mtimka. Thank you very much for your time.
Good evening to you and your viewers. Thank you for having me.
Now, what do you make of the public protector's findings in favor of the president, and what reasons did she give?
So just a brief context, the current public protector in South Africa, Advocate Busisiwe Mkhwebane, is facing an impeachment process in the South African Parliament after courts berated her for making findings out of thin air and not backed by evidence decisions, which in many instances were logical decisions, logical conclusions to draw based on a balance of probabilities. We seem to have moved. So now Kholeka Gcaleka is her acting public protector, was her deputy. It seems to me that we have moved from the extreme of a public protector who is now currently suspended, who would stop at nothing, even limiting evidence to find against politicians, to one who is too careful as far as what the evidence before her presents her to stay on the safe path. And the response by politicians is suggesting that we need a more midway, not a too scared approach, that acknowledges too much the limitations of the evidence to such an extent that illogical conclusions are made, nor the approach by the suspended public protector, which became too bold, even if the evidence didn't support her decisions. Anyway, to be quite clear, the public protector says that 2 allegations against the president, one of receiving remunerated work from the Phala Phala farm, and the one of misconduct, were not substantiated by the evidence that is before her. And in that way, she is letting the president off the hook while laying the blame at the door of his head of presidential protection.
Now, Dr. Mtimka, you said she's let the president off the hook, but is that the end of Phala Phala? Does it end at this episode? And is it safe to say that the public prosecutor's findings is a huge relief for the president? Because we're also hearing that the opposition parties, the DA, EFF and ATM, are challenging this ruling by the public prosecutor.
So there are some answers that remain unanswered, even by the public protector's report. And I doubt that this is going to be the end. When the matter is brought before the courts, I think that the public protector might be vindicated on the basis that the evidence that she considered was limited, unless perhaps more evidence is brought forward in the courts that may incriminate the president. Otherwise, as things stand, the president is off the hook. Remember that even a report by Parliament, a parliamentary committee, which had recommended that the president has a case to answer, was shot down by the ANC using its majority in Parliament. And as a result of that, there's no parliamentary process that's taking place.
But the police, sorry to interrupt you, Dr. Mtimka, there's a police investigation underway. What do you think will be the outcome, and is there a timeline to when they have to give an answer to the results of the investigations, come up with their findings and make it public?
The view by many was that because of the hearsay nature of the evidence that was brought by former spy Arthur Fraser, it's difficult for the police to press charges against the president. And in fact, there was a view that the police might have wanted to first go through the maze of evidence that was there and determine what charges to bring against the affected parties here. And I will not be surprised if either that report, that investigation by the police is being stifled by the party elites, or that they have not found any breakthrough in terms of what to charge the president with.
Thank you very much for your time, Dr. Ongama Mtimka. We do appreciate your insight. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're watching